Welcome back to the That Was Extreme After Show exclusively on adfreeshows.com. I am joined tonight by the Blue Meanie, Mr. Brian Heffron. Hello, Brian.
Hello.
Hello. As well as the host, So Says Shernoff. It's Josh, Fantastic Eyebrows Shernoff. Hello, Josh.
Oh, hello. How are you? Thanks for having me.
You keep hitting me with that sexy voice. What am I going to do? And we have, whatever role you play in this, Joel Gertner. Hello, Joel.
Well. Hello. We almost had a calamity today. Can I let you know real quick about it? It has nothing to do with One Night Stand 05, but just real quick, what's funny is it's like 6:40 here in the East, and I'm looking around, and I can't find them. My wife's like, where are your earbuds, your AirPods, your earbuds, your earpods? Where are those? And I remembered taking them out of the house for something like to go for a little walk or whatever, and I couldn't think of where I placed them. So here it is, 20 minutes until showtime, and I couldn't find, and I thought I wasn't going to be able to find them, and I thought I'd have to do the show without them with lower quality audio. You know what would prohibit that from ever having to happen would be if I had a second pair of AirPods. But because I don't invest into professional wrestling anymore, because, I'm not a greenhorn and I've kind of been there, done that, and I'm part of the dues paid mafia and everything like that, I figure the best way to make sure that I have a second pair of AirPods or a charger or anything like that would be if 3, 2, 1,
everyone's muted.
The boys. Everyone must be muted.
They're all
while
muted.
They're screaming, paid the boys. So I'm just putting that out there that for me to have a second pair of AirPods or to have a mobile charger or to have anything like that would be something that I would want people to make sure that the powers that be could provide to us, because I am more than happy with my pro wrestling legacy and hope all of you can be entertained and informed by it as well. But as we all know, and as we all heard in the movie Rocky Balboa, a legacy is what you get instead of getting paid.
I got this extra set of headphones here and this nice charger, which is blue, in honor of the Blue Meanie.
So that's for Meanie.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Hey, well,
You guys, I really appreciated that, Joel. And of course, I will pass your sentiment along. Although I have to tell you that you could just be a responsible human being and keep up with your shit. That's always an option, right? No, maybe not. Okay. The face is killing me. Okay. Well, for you, my friend, kiss my ass. Okay. Thanks. I'm just kidding. You know what? They pay me in Bishop.
Said that to the wrong person.
True that. You guys, enough of the shenanigans.
Wait, did you say they pay you in Bischoff what?
Bischoff
Bitcoin.
Bischoff buddies?
She gets paid in Bitcoin.
Hey, Meanie, what's that over your shoulder?
Oh, you mean this isn't an ad, but the Blue Meanie wrestle body courtesy of Brothers Gatter Toys, Brothers Gatter in upstate New York.
Yours looks so much bigger than mine.
That's what she said. Hey,
it's
Meanie.
Yes.
Do you happen to have mine there? Because I don't.
No way. There's one of you. Does it have eyebrows? Because listen, Bischoff is missing the dimples. And if you think I didn't notice, you don't know.
I still have to take his out of the package,
but I'm still suffocating there. But yeah, make sure everybody can see my eyebrows.
What people don't know is there's this big fucking piece of twine on there, and I don't want to rip off my fingers. I almost lost a finger opening up my own. So, but yeah, thank you to the folks at Brother Gatter.
Yeah. First, if we were allowed to do ads, I would say go to mindofthemeanie.com or brothersgatter.com and pre-order yours now for a meet and greet that Meanie and I are doing August 7th in Port Henry, New York. But alas, it's not an ad. Although I do want to say, Michael Amend, if you want to show that shirt you're wearing right there, that's a shirt. Michael, where did you get that? Because we don't want to do ads here. So I'm just curious, where did you get that not an ad, that was extreme shirt?
I believe it was on boxofgimmicks.com, not an ad. Also not an ad. This water is fantastic. Not an ad.
Wait a minute. Was it really boxofgimmicks.com? Are they selling our stuff? Because I thought it was prowrestlingtees.com/that was extreme.
Careful.
InfoWrestlingTees.com/thatwasextreme.
Okay, that's
It's
what
one
it
or the
is.
other. I just can't
Okay.
remember.
Okay. Both have great shirts.
This is true, and this is not an ad.
No.
You guys are outrageous. Friends,
Infomercial at best.
yeah, this is ridiculous. We're off to
You're
calamity.
ridiculous.
Yeah, you're ridiculous, Joel. That was a really good word to describe all of this, is just calamity. So thank you for starting us off that way. And the theme continues on, I am sure. Let's get started with some questions. First, I want to talk about the That Was Extreme podcast, which is available on adfreeshows.com, free to everyone. So this time we covered the ECW One Night Stand 2005, right? And so I really liked how you prefaced the episode. I think it was you, Josh. No, it was the Blue Meanie who said this was ECW's final love letter to the fans. Aww.
Yeah.
In the fields. Tell me about that. What makes you say that it was the final love letter? That's just so sentimental for One Night Stand.
Well, I was raised by women, so I'm very sentimental. But legit, ECW never had a really good, and it was just an abrupt breakup. It just went away in Arkansas, which
Of all places,
the week after they ran the ECW arena. I mean, I could see if you knew it was going to be the last show, have the last final blowout at the arena. You know what I'm saying? So, it was just like everything just happened abruptly, very coldly, just into the wind. As far as
how little money must we think about it, though, Meanie?
Yeah.
What kind of fumes are we running on in January of 2001? If our last show is in, what was it, in Pine Bluff or Poplar Bluff? I wasn't there. I don't remember. I think we did. It was in Pine Bluff, the last one.
Yeah.
Okay. What now? You think if we had like a pack of hot dogs, like 3 bags of hot dog buns, a beer or two, and like we could have we could have done something, right? Like the arena would have rented to us for the boys were working for half price for 5 months, right? So the arena would have probably opened up, right?
Yeah, we could have had a beef and beer, raise some funds, pass a hat down.
Of course. Go fund me the old-fashioned low-tech way. People were charitable back then. It doesn't matter that there wasn't technology. People were willing to donate. The same way somebody out there right now wants me to have a 3rd pair of AirPods is the same way somebody would have taken $100 out of their pocket if it meant that Roger would have opened up the building. Don't tell me otherwise. I was born on a Saturday morning, but not last Saturday morning.
Well,
ironically, when ECW closed, Joel and I were instant messaging, like, are you shitting me? Arkansas? And we were both in disbelief, like, it can't end. No offense to Arkansas, but we were just at the ECW arena in South Philly. It could have been that, but the fact that they brought it back for this one night stand, which eventually became 2 night stands, it was awesome. I mean, you couldn't have booked a more perfect show in a more perfect atmosphere. Would you have liked to have done it in Philly? Sure, but they learned that lesson from the first pay-per-view with the power and all that stuff. So to have it in Hammerstein Ballroom, heart of New York City, those ravenous fans.
Isn't that where we were the week before Arkansas?
You just may be right. We could have. I think we did those the 2 nights there with the ECW tag tournament, maybe, or something like that. Or no. The final
the January pay-per-view.
Yeah, which I think I kicked that one off. Yeah.
Not to say, it would be a sin to cancel 2 nights in Arkansas just because you're in Manhattan the week before.
Yeah.
But
Massacre on 34th Street. It was the last time we were at.
Was December. Yeah. Yep.
But the one night stand was such a perfect way to get the band back together. Every now and then Led Zeppelin gets back together, whether it's for the 40th anniversary of Atlantic Records or a one-off concert at the O2 in London. This is like the band.
And who cares how many arms the drummer has? It's Led Zeppelin.
I think you're thinking of Def Leppard, but
whatever.
I'll let you slide. But,
it's all the same to me, right?
Only the names change.
As Billy Joel said, it's still rock and roll to me.
There you go. Wonderful. We're getting music education and everything all at the same
I
time.
got tons of useless knowledge with music. Don't even get me started with that.
Okay. I'm here for it. We're going to pass that information along to my friend Efren for WrestleGamia. He might need to make use of a special guest in the Blue Meanie. All right. So I know you guys are tired of hearing me talk. I'll get right to you in just a moment. But first, our friend Andrew is in the gym lifting weights. He can't quite hear or speak, but he asks Joel, you said One Night Stand was your tryout for WWE because we were fully entrenched in ruthless aggression era. Would the Joel Gertner character have played, been changed, made sense? Or do you think you might have been several years late for that particular opportunity?
I was told to treat it as an audition, which I would have done anyway, and which is, you know, like I said on the show, every time I go through the curtain, I treat it like it's my first time and my last time. We will never have the benefit of tangible, actual knowledge whether I could have played the quintessential stud muffin of ECW type, a different level of quintessential stud muffin, Joey Jaguar, who I played in my teenage years on the indies before my ECW break, or any incarnation of any character. You know, I'm sure Bastion Booger didn't walk the streets looking that way. And I'm sure, you know, I mean, you know, we'll never know.
There you have it, Andrew. The world will never know.
Not to say we'll never know. We may one day know, but, you know, my biological clock and my patience meter and the number of fucks I give, which is now at -4 because another month has gone by, my wrestling biological clock is ticking like this.
Okay. Well, there we have it. So
I'd love to make my first organic Renaissance man-made $1 million in the wrestling business. If the wrestling business will not cooperate and comply, I will do it elsewhere.
fair enough. And if you guys are looking for financial wisdom, be sure to follow Joel on Twitter as well. I'm always here for it. Thank you so much. And thank you, Andrew, for that question. You hang in there at the gym. Michael McClanahan, I guess you're not at the gym because you're here. What's up?
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much, gentlemen, for taking my question tonight. I really enjoyed the One Night Stand episode. My question is going to be maybe a little bit different, and if you want, I can ask another one, but I wanted to talk about, in some ways, do you think—
Ask three.
And this question goes to all three of you. Do you believe that ECW One Night Stand was in some ways a victim of its own success, in the sense that it was so successful that it encouraged Vince McMahon to resurrect the ECW brand, which I think we can all agree was, in hindsight, maybe a mistake? And the second part of that question is, if it was a victim of its own success, can you think of any other concept, maybe a gimmick match, something in wrestling that falls in that same category? It was a victim of its own success in that the first one was really successful, but the ones after it have kind of been met with, we might say, diminishing returns.
Who wants to go first?
I'll say, I don't know if it was a victim of its own success. You know, Vince likes to make money. So he, you know, the Rise and Fall ECW paper DVD made a lot of money. And then, you know, thankfully Rob Van Dam pitched the idea of One Night Stand, and that in turn made WWE a lot of money. And I think the fact that they went back to the well and wanted to do another One Night Stand and then relaunched the brand, it just became a victim of the fact that ECW used to rage against the machine and now is a part of the machine, even though the machine kind of helped it along the way in the original years. I like to say that WWECW was a lot like when Wayne and Garth sold Wayne's World to the big TV distributor, Noah's Arcade, and they went to the first taping of Wayne's World after they sold the show, and Wayne and Garth are in the basement, and they go, wow, this is Wayne's basement, but this isn't Wayne's basement. A lot was like that. The original ECW, I mean, WWE ECW was a lot like that. Yeah, this is ECW, but this isn't ECW. It just, if, the original plan, back in the day is, there's rumors Shane McMahon wanted to buy ECW and keep it like a streaming only series, which would have been awesome. Shane McMahon's young, and like I think he would have let Paul and Tommy have their way and still run it and get its sponsorships, unlike the TNN deal. But yeah, I think it was just a victim of it became a part of the machine, and that machine wasn't around when it was growing organically. And a lot of people had this concept of what ECW was, and they know of ECW just because of what they saw in the sizzle reel, the highlights. But if you went to an actual ECW event, there wasn't always all violence. It was wrestling. You had the Jerry Lynn, the Malenkos and all that in the early years, but it just became a victim of what they thought the concept of ECW originally was. And they tried to tame the tiger, and it just became this whole other thing, which, like I said, I watch NXT now. I kind of wish they did that with the original ECW and just let Paul and Tommy go off on their own. I mean, NXT, Triple H and Shawn Michaels are off doing their own thing with NXT and having a lot of success with it. They should have let Paul and Tommy take the WWE ECW, run it off, run smaller buildings and stuff like that, and find an alternative network for it. And I think they could have done the same thing that NXT is doing now.
Joel, do you have something to add, or do you want me
to? We didn't have the liberty in 2001. We needed to try to keep it going as much as possible, as much as Paul might have wanted to keep ECW going. And for as long as he would want to keep it going, he would have needed to try to keep it going. So we didn't have the liberty in 2001 of killing off ECW, even though it wasn't the ECW of 1999 and prior. In WWE, they owned us. They got our IP in bankruptcy court. They had that right, so they brought in ECW when they saw that it could monetize. And in about 2004, 2005, they did the DVD, they did the book, they did the pay-per-view, they did the 06 pay-per-view. They started ECW as a number 3 brand on Sci-Fi. And when they saw that it wouldn't last, they, I think with December to Dismember, they just beat it out of everybody and they just made you not want to watch it. And I think that was their way of making sure after the very end of it that nobody would really tamper with the ECW product by chanting ECW really ever again, except for certain spots that kind of have that niche where you feel like chanting and the only thing that makes sense to chant during that spot is ECW.
So, I mean, what both of them said makes a lot of sense. My feeling is that it was not a victim of its own success, specifically because, as we talked about on the show, we look back on that event so fondly still, even with everything that came afterwards. So I don't think the show itself was a victim. I also don't think the legacy of ECW was a victim of the success, even though Vince McMahon brought it back and it became WWECW and all of that. If anything, I think the flop that the WWE version of ECW was solidified and even romanticized in people's minds how great ECW, the original ECW, was by comparison. Also, though, I will say the new ECW introduced us to a lot of new stars, CM Punk, Zack Ryder. And I know Zack Ryder didn't have the biggest success in the WWE, but look at what he's doing now. And, without having that brand there, maybe they wouldn't have had the opportunity to get the initial, because we all look at CM Punk and who he became, but CM Punk back then, I mean, he could have just gotten lost in the shuffle on SmackDown or on Raw. So I think there was a lot to that. But the other part of your question, if there was anything else that has become a victim of its own success, to me, it has to be Hell in a Cell. That used to be when you'd hear a Hell in a Cell match was coming, you know, whoever was being put into that match would get the big eyes and, oh my God, I can't believe this is going to happen. And now it's just, oh, it's Hell in a Cell. Okay. Like it just doesn't matter. You know, it's kind of the same, you know, you could say a ladder match too, but I think really Hell in a Cell because of just how impressive and big that match was and what it meant. And now I think it's almost meaningless.
Careful though in saying that, Josh, because you could have a bright future in the professional wrestling business, and you want to make sure that you don't kind of, you know, rub anybody the wrong way or kind of put a bad taste in anybody's mouth.
You know what?
By speaking your truth. I mean, not to say that you shouldn't go on your journey and speak your own personal truth, but just,
I'm confident that I can always rub somebody the right way in a way to make up for rubbing them the wrong way. And,
so you're a gigolo. So essentially you're a male prostitute and
hey, a rose by any other name, you know?
Well, thank you guys for answering that.
Just as the youngest statesman, I want to make sure that you kind of just, you know, keep just embellish if you have to, you know, but just make sure that you keep your options open.
I do appreciate that. I also hope that they don't watch So Says Shernoff on Fight, if that's the case.
I do
Who
want
who wouldn't watch it?
I don't know. Who wouldn't go right now to download the podcast? So Says Shernoff. You know, you can go wherever you get your podcast. No, it's not an ad at all.
I will say I'm fairly confident that Mr. McMahon is not watching. That was extreme after show on ad-free shows. You're probably safe here. It's a safe place.
Tony Schiavone could be watching. He liked it on Twitter.
I love Tony
Eric
Schiavone.
Bischoff is part of the fam. He could be watching. And, you know, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. If Tony Schiavone and Eric Bischoff could be watching, Vince McMahon might be watching. Not to say that he's probably watching, but he could be watching. It's within the realm of slight possibility.
I'm going to probably say that it's not, but Tony Schiavone is the god of wrestling. Michael McClanahan, did you have a follow-up to that question? Thank you.
I do have one quick follow-up, and thank you guys so much for your responses. My follow-up is, we heard you talk about the ECW One Night Stand 2005 pay-per-view, which is regarded as, like you were saying, a love letter to ECW. Could you talk for a few minutes about if any of you had any involvement with the 2010 TNA Hardcore Justice ECW reunion show, and maybe your thoughts on that show if you were involved, and whether or not you think TNA trying to revive ECW was a good idea, or if you think that it should have just been kind of left where it was with One Night Stand and then the WWE version of ECW.
Well, little known fact, I was actually involved in financing that show. I bought it on pay-per-view. Guys, I had nothing to do with that.
I was not involved. I was asked to be involved, but I politely turned it down because it was scheduled the day before I was supposed to go on a vacation. I said, hey guys, love to do the show, but I just put out a couple grand on a vacation. Could you fix my tickets to fly me, you know, instead of flying from Philly to California, Philly to Florida, Florida to California? I mean, you have a travel agent in your office. This shouldn't be a problem to fix my tickets. They didn't, so I declined. They had me film, they asked me to film a promo, which I did outside Todd Gordon's Carver W. Reed on Sansom Street here in Philadelphia. And I got to say hello to the ECW fans in that regard. And then they had an Blue Meanie imposter, Blue Tilly, they called him. I guess the guy's name's Tilly or something like that. I don't know, but I thought it was a good show. You know,
so you're saying even though they had the actual you on the show in the video, which I remember, you're saying they still went ahead and they had an imposter Blue Meanie, almost as if to say, you know, we can't give you what you want live, so we're going to give you something that you don't necessarily want live.
Right.
All right. I mean, just, you know, if I can't keep, you know, if I'm slow on the uptake, just, you know, I'm, you know, considerate enough to ask.
No, they had every opportunity to have me there, but they had the Blue Tilly. And then for whatever reason, I guess I did the video for the pay-per-view, which aired on the pay-per-view and live to the crowd. And then I was reading the reviews for that same pay-per-view in the Pro Wrestling Torch. And Wade Keller called me gay. And I don't know why to this day Wade Keller decided to call me gay.
I think it's a compliment when Wade Keller calls you gay.
He's like, when did the Blue Meanie?
Unless he's like
gay?
self-hating, or I don't. Again, I could be slow on the uptake, but
I don't know. It just really bummed me out. I was like, "What?" He go. The exact quote is, "When did the Blue Meanie become gay?" I went, "Excuse me."
Is it because you weren't there live? Like, is anything sent in on tape homosexual or?
No clue. You know, first of all, I couldn't be gay because I can't get in that good a shape. Have you seen the abs on those dudes? It's amazing. But
you know, this is all said
You
in
know
a
how to
sense of
party,
comedy,
too.
and this is not. I hate nobody based on anything like, you know, sexuality and gender and race and creed and ethnicity and religion and height or anything like that. But again, couldn't it be a compliment if he's calling you gay? Like, does he call 70% of his staff gay?
I don't
Or
I mean, it could have been like, when did Blue Meanie become gay? That's wonderful. You
Right.
know,
If he
like,
followed it up with "That's wonderful,"
yeah.
I'll be like, "Oh, cool."
Brian, I wonder if when you submitted your recorded promo, did you take over like some questionable porn or something?
No, that's what I used to do to get bookings in my early indie career.
Well, there you go. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was like a early reel or something. You know?
Yeah, maybe.
back when you were working, when he was working Blue.
Oh my God. We're just out here perpetuating rumors. It's all good. That's fine.
Rumor
Listen up.
innuendo has it.
Right. Did you just say innuendo?
Oh my.
Yeah, I coined the phrase.
When did the Blue
Always
Meanie become
innuendo,
gay?
sometimes innuendo. Hey, let me ask you a question. Okay, so Vince McMahon is not watching. You think Brian Alvarez is tuned in? Because I peppered him 2-3 weeks ago on Twitter, and I said, brother, wait till you hear some of this nonsense.
Yeah. I can't confirm or deny if some of the things you said were left on the cutting room floor before it was submitted to ad-free shows.
But some of it made it, though, right?
Oh, yeah. You were a little stiff-ski, as they say. Yeah.
Some of it burned a hole through the floor on the cutting.
Well, he wasn't very
I
nice
wasn't,
with some of the
I
stuff
wasn't
that he
shedding
said about
tears.
ECW. Some of the stuff that he said about, not to be an ECW apologist all the time, but some of the stuff on Twitter, oh my God, we did 1.3 million viewers on March 3rd, 2020. Nobody does that now, even though nobody watches television now. I'll put silly stuff on Twitter. But at the end of the day, not to be an ECW apologist, but he went out of his way, Brian Alvarez, in his coverage of ECW One Night Stand 05, and in some of his other coverage, from what I understand, to say he's nitpicky would almost be an insult to the veracity of the definition of nitpicky. It's not that. It's that he's like, I don't think abrasive is the right word. He like, I don't know, but like it doesn't seem like, as a journalist, Brian Alvarez was super fair to ECW. So I just decided to step in, and on behalf of you, Josh, and on behalf of Meanie, I just decided to defend, not us personally, because I could give 5 rats asses what you say about me. But when it comes to ECW, which was for over 5 years my meal ticket, my bread and butter, and where a lot of my chosen family I met, for you to be Brian Alvarez and come in and be like, what did he say? What did he say that made me say that he was working like Walla Walla, Washington, or Podunk, Oregon? And like, I mean, it was egregious, wasn't it, Josh?
He said a lot. I mean, it was honestly, having to read the alphabet soup that was his writing was a challenge in and of itself. And I was so excited to not be reading Meltzer, because my God, like, I mean, throw a period in there somewhere, maybe a comma, you know, it's like, it's unbelievable. But yeah, it was some bad stuff. It was some, you know, I think he even called you a dope at one point, which, like, the what?
Me?
Yeah. I don't know. He said something about how you got, I don't know. or a fool or something. It was like, and then also if I can piggyback on what you're saying, my issue with reading Brian Alvarez on this was it seemed very much like he didn't actually ever watch ECW. Like, he didn't seem to get what he was like. You know what I mean? Like, if you went back there, he's like, I guess this is something he does. And then he was talking about like his friend George, or Greg or whatever. Like, I guess like in context, and we all know context is king, but in context,
George is a rabbit or George is a person?
I think George is a rat. But I don't know who. I think
George is a rat.
Son of a
George is a male rat.
Yeah, you should go check out Short Stories of Swoggle. There's an episode on ad-free shows.
Wait a minute.
George the rat.
Did Wade Keller say that George is a male rat?
No,
because he'll say a lot of stuff. You saw what he said about Meanie.
Yeah.
And Meanie's not gay. Not that there's anything wrong with it.
Of course
if
not.
he was gay, I'd love him twice as much. Not like that, but not that there would be anything wrong with that.
Wow. Well, this has been enlightening and a whole lot of fun. Michael McClanahan.
Is anybody still with us?
You've brought the heat, McClanahan.
I'm all set. Thank you guys so much for.
You're the man.
Thank you.
Man.
I'm all set.
I can't be.
Thank you guys for answering my questions, and thanks for getting my questions in.
Thanks for being here, bro.
You're welcome, dude. Stay black.
Wonderful. You know what?
What?
Seriously, what? Seriously, what? Mr. Blue Meanie, I have to tell you that I too am familiar with being imitated on, I don't want to say television, whatever this platform is. You guys have been stuck with Paul Bromwell lately, and I mean,
love him.
There's just no substitute for me, right?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
not. He can try his very best.
You bring levity.
You're so sweet. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm gonna look it up. Thank you.
I don't know. I just made it up. But
you have better hair.
Yeah.
I have better hair, and
it's a compliment.
Thank you. I'll take all the compliments. Brad Stanton, welcome to the show. Good to see you tonight. How are you, Brad?
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Hey,
What's up,
Brad.
man? How you doing, buddy?
So before I ask my question, I just have to say about Alvarez. I wasn't even going to bring it up, but here's someone that's critical about your show,
right?
And he writes for a living, and he doesn't know how to write. What are we doing
for a living?
He doesn't know how to spell, and he doesn't even know how to use spell check. He doesn't know how to use grammar check, and he's criticizing what you guys are doing. He can't even do what he's doing.
Right.
So the hell with him.
Said. It seemed a lot like he was. Like, I know they weren't doing this back then because we didn't have iPhones, but it seemed like he did, like, you know, like when you dictate into your phone and it just types it for you, but you know that like every seventh word is not going to be accurate. And if you don't say things like comma or period, it's not going to put it in there. So it's going to be a never ending run on sentence. That's pretty much what it was like to read this. But thanks to Joshua Odom for digging that up for us.
You're gonna rag on Brian Alvarez for his proficiency at writing newsletters. Meanwhile, I'll have you know that in addition to doing that, he also actively is an in-ring competitor and wrestling performing talent. He does both. I, on the other hand, was only at one time and in one spot a wrestling talent. I didn't ever, well, I did when I was 11. And I like kind of sold it around school and stuff. I was pretty good at it. I could have probably gone pro, but
what was it?
So I think we kind of beat this to death maybe, but I want to ask one more time.
Sure.
So this ECW show in 05, when I found out it was going to happen, I'm going to tell you, I didn't really think that it would actually be an ECW show. I hear that WWE has its fingers on it. I think it's going to be tamed or just very tame, but it actually turned out, like you say, it was like a love letter, and it ended up being a real, an ECW experience. Were you at all, all three of you, were you at all surprised at how good that did come out? And how good they stuck to it.
When I was initially booked for it, I was booked by Dreamer. So I was like, well, that's a good start, that afternoon we got to the Hammerstein Ballroom. They had a production meeting or like a pre-show meeting with the talent. We all sat around ringside and Vince said, oh, we want to have a genuine show, genuine ECW experience. And we're just like, all right, and I mean, they did had their fingerprints on it as far as maybe formatting a show. They formatted it and, did stuff like that, technically, so it could be proficient. I have friends who had the task of putting WWE programming on the network. And they're like, man, I wish Paul would have learned how to do a run sheet. Like they would just get the footage and there's like no notes, no nothing. And like I had friends in WWE production hit me up going, hey, tell me about so-and-so. What's his deal? Like I had to like go back and forth with some of these guys. So when it came to doing an ECW show, WWE had their fingerprints on it as far as making sure it was formatted and timed and this or that and the other thing. But as far as the actual booking, that was Paul and Tommy and stuff like that. So, once you got there, once you heard the crowd, I mean, it felt genuine. It felt like the genuine article. It didn't feel like we were, if I didn't see Vince at the gorilla position, I would have thought it was just another night at the Hammerstein for ECW, I was very happy with how it was pre-planned, booked, and the execution.
I loved it. I mean, I love the WWE guys in the crowd too. I just love that whole thing, the back and forth, and I think it was very well done. Yes, the place was just on fire. So the way it came out and what I expected, I was very, very happy with the way it turned out.
When I went back to WWE after the whole JBL thing and all that stuff, and I was flying home from a SmackDown or one of the shows, and some of the production guys were on my flight because they're Philly guys, and I can't remember which guy. Might have been not like everybody knows the cameraman's names, but the one guy said, "Look, I've been shooting TV and events for a long time. This is the first time I kind of took my eye away from the viewfinder just to, look around and take in the moment." He's like, I had never been a part of in an atmosphere like that, wrestling wise. So for the guy, when you impress the production people who are just who can become jaded in the moment where it becomes Groundhog's Day and they're doing things by the letter each and every day, for production guys to go, hey, let me soak this in. That meant a lot.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, guys, for coming out. I appreciate you answering my questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
James did laundry. Did anybody see that on the crawl?
What?
On the crawl.
I did.
No.
I have excellent vertical north-south peripheral vision. And a wonderful device that's only 2.5 years old that I wouldn't want anybody through something like GoFundMe or whatever to, click $50 into them. But I happen to have, and it told me that James did laundry. It wasn't that I wasn't paying attention to the previous caller and their question. It was right at the tail end, at the very end. I just happened to, I didn't even glance down. I noticed that James has done laundry.
You're always noticing the tail end, Joel Gertner, and we love
No
you.
disrespect to you, Penn State.
Of course not.
None taken. We're good.
Good. Anthony Pyrus, always a pleasure to see you. Hi, Anthony.
Always a pleasure to be seen. I have 3 things tonight, but I promise I'll be relatively brief. First thing, Lauren, it's been 2 weeks since I've seen you, and you know what's coming, Lauren. Go Pats! That's for you too, Meanie.
Bro, what are you drinking? Pamplemousse cider?
I've got myself a gray sail from Westerly, Rhode Island.
All right.
So
throw an orange slice in there. It looks like.
Question: Why? Good God, why?
Because it goes good with an orange slice.
Why are we talking Brian Alvarez in a world where Mike Johnson exists? But Joel, this one's for you, and I apologize for deviating off the subject.
None taken.
Back in January, when we first started the This Is Extreme After Show, I told you guys specifically how much ECW helped bring my family together. Right now, one of those family members, my cousin, one of my best friends named Jeff, is in ICU after a hernia operation followed by some food poisoning. Joel, I would appreciate it more than you'd know if you, because I'll be playing this for him later, if you could just send my cousin Jeff some good thoughts.
Jeff, I'm thinking about you, bro. Be careful what you eat. Be careful what you lift. Be careful how you lift the things you eat. Be careful how you eat the things you lift. Multitask. You're going to get over both of these obstacles in a non-binary fashion. May God have mercy on your soul, and we're all with you.
Thank you, Joel. I really do appreciate that. Lauren, thank you for having me on. Joel, Josh, and Meanie, I appreciate it so much, but I really wanted to make sure my cousin got a shout out from the big man Joel Gertner tonight, because we bonded so much over his limerick. And his question to you was, when you did your famous limericks, was that all off the top of your head, or did you actually get some consultation heading into that?
I wrote 99% of them myself. Some were off the top of my head because I was challenging myself to be that way and be timely and stay relevant with them. Some were written half an hour in advance. Some were written 6 days in advance. One of them came to me in a dream. I had pen and paper nearby on the nightstand. I wrote it down, went back to sleep, and 50% of my work for that week was done. So case by case, just all different.
Joel, what you meant, it's strange that you're a family. It's strange that you meant a lot to family, but you did mean a lot to family. I appreciate you so much, and thank you for talking to me tonight.
It was all meant to be family entertainment. The Manson family mostly, but
yeah.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, dude. Thank you.
We actually had a fan at DCW Arena we lovingly referred to as Manson. And then he got into a fist fight with Ian and Axl Rotten and the Pit Bulls, and we never saw him again.
Some of our fans, some of our staunchest just disappeared. I don't know whether it was prison or if like animal control caught up with them or like.
Well, we had one fan in the front row, everybody called Dreads. He looked like Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but with dreadlocks. And he was always doing that, oh man, all this stuff, right? And he wanted to get into wrestling, and he trained for like, I don't know how long, but we were at Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania in Jim Thorpe, PA, at Mountaintop, on top of the mountain. And he was supposed to do a run in on somebody's deal, and Taz is going to suplex him. So I see this guy like, bracing himself, like pacing back and forth, and I'm a badass, and which is totally not him, because he was like pretty much a hippie, but like he was acting like a badass or whatever. So he does his run in, Taz suplexes him, never saw him again. Stopped coming to shows. It's like that the meme where you see or GIF or whatever, where Stone Cold Steve Austin stuns Scott Hall and he flies out into orbit. Taz suplexed him, and he's probably still in orbit.
All right. I mean, if I got suplexed at a show, I don't know that I'd go to another one again either. So.
Took a suplex from Taz, and man, the only thing of it I remember is I'm a fucking wet ass. I can't get up for fucking anybody. I'm awful.
Taz came up to me, goes, this is like New Orleans, and Taz has to come in during the FBI match, a suplex. Everybody goes, Meanie brother, the boys don't think I could get you up for a suplex. I was like, Taz, I do a backflip off the top rope. I can jump for you. All right, brother, this is how we do it. And then he did it, and it was like probably one of the coolest bumps I ever took. And it always cracked me up. Brother, the boys don't think I could get you up. Dude, I flip off the top rope. But yeah. Brother.
I love it. Wonderful. Anthony, as you know, tons of comments right now. Everybody's thinking about you and your family right now. So
yeah, man.
Nice to see you. And you know what else, Joel? I had a thought. You were talking about being a writer and having a notepad on your nightstand, and I can relate. I'm a writer as well. This is not an ad, but wouldn't it be fun if we had like a line of greeting cards written by Joel Gertner? I think
that would be good.
Let's put that on.
What would we call it? Quintessential greetings or?
Yes.
Ball
I love
mark.
this. Make it happen. We can sell those on Box of Gimmicks. I would for sure buy your greeting cards for every event in my life.
We're gonna make enough money, I think, to get me a second pair of AirPods. I love
hope
it.
so.
And Lauren, I love you. And like that kind of platonic. I know you've got kids or whatever else.
You can say Hallmark, but over the H you scribble a B.
Yes.
Oh,
Or like different sections, like the get well section.
get
Like,
well card. Even Anthony has family that could use a get well card right now.
This is perfect.
From a food poisoning /
If anything,
hernia.
well card.
And who better to write a food poisoning hernia promo than the guy who, you don't get a body like mine by accident. You know what I mean? You got to take a chance eating some stuff that might be food poisoned, right? I mean, just quantity wise, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Love you,
God. Joel, you're going to get rich. We just uncovered the way you're going to make your next million.
One way or another. If I live long enough, it'll happen.
I love it. I'm here for it. Hornets Beard Guy. How are you tonight? What a name.
I'm doing well. That's me. I mean, I got the Charlotte Hornets LaMelo Ball Rookie of the Year 2021. I got the beard, and I'm a guy. It's pretty self-explanatory. Hornets Beard Guy. And I know Taz is probably watching this, so I got nothing but good things to say about you, Taz. Don't suplex me. We're cool.
Taz is definitely watching because
He's
Bischoff and Shivani
sure.
are watching. Now, if Shivani's watching, all of the AEW announcers could be watching.
And I'll be waiting on a get well card. That sounds awesome. Unfortunately, I do not have a one night stand 05 question, but I was told that's okay.
Yeah.
Meanie, I want to rap with you a little bit. I want to talk about your way back, going in the Wayback Machine to your Blue Dust character, man. Those promos were hilarious. Specifically, I'm talking about the one where I think it was you, Richards, and Raven. I think Steven Richards was trying to find a new valet for Raven. And you're sitting there.
Yes, sluttiest woman.
And he's like, he goes, Richards, yeah, boss, she's not feminine enough.
And he flubbed. Raven flubbed the word feminine.
Yes, he said like feminine or something.
Feminine. But the promo went so well, we did.
So who would have been behind that? Was it mostly, did you have all control of that creatively? And how many takes would that have taken? Because there was another one where Richards is like spraying the dust off you and you're doing the Tommy Boy like maniac scene. And I laugh every time I watch that. I mean, how did you guys get through those? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it was just one of those just random things where Paul says, come up to the studio. We got to, we're doing a promo with you. And the promo was half inspired by Goldust being naked and covered with the Intercontinental belt.
Yeah.
So I was going to be naked, covered with the Meanie doll because I didn't have a belt at the time. So I was like, all right. So it revolved around this whole other thing where, Raven sent Stevie on the quest to find the dirtiest, filthiest, skankiest, disease-ridden woman in the world. And, the the 1 week they actually brought in Divine Brown, which was interesting.
Yeah.
And she couldn't walk in the ring because she had her high heels on or whatever, and Stevie had to pick her up. It was pretty hysterical. But
I thought you were going to say she couldn't walk because the crabs were biting at each other.
But for that promo, we planned for it. I was like, I'm going to be Blue Dust, so I got to go out and buy the paint, right? So anybody who does face paint in wrestling uses liquid latex, acrylic paint, Road Warrior Sting, all them, Muda, liquid test. I go out and buy a couple tubes of it. No, I'm going to get painted. We go to Ron Buffone's parents' house, which is the TV studio. So, we're there and Paul goes, all right, Meanie, go get painted up. All right. I go into the hall bathroom to paint myself up. I go, oh no. And Sandman walks by and goes, yo, Meanie, what's wrong? Yo, Meanie, what's wrong? I go, don't say it. I forgot to paint. He goes, what? You forgot to paint? I go, yeah. He goes, yo, Meanie forgot to paint. And then I'm like, son of a bitch. the main thing for me to be Blue Dust, right?
If I can interrupt for 1 second, I love that you're saying don't say anything. Let's say he hadn't said anything. What was your game plan there?
I didn't say I was the smartest man.
Okay.
So it's just like I was trying to think of alternatives until
Just give you some more time. You need
give me some more time to think something out before I go, hey guys, I forgot the most important thing that we needed for this promo. So we came up with a plan B. And me and Tommy Dreamer drove to the local supermarket and bought cake icing and blue food dye. Go back to Ron Buffone's parents' house, and he proceeds to make this concoction, and he covers me. He's the hardcore icon, Tommy Dreamer, and the Blue Meanie are standing there. I got my little tights on, and he's got the thing you put cake icing on, like the little paddle,
like a spatula or whatever.
Yeah, we're like, oh man, if the fans could see us now. And it's
don't kid yourself. Dreamer loved every minute of that.
Oh, he licked the batter. But I want to say it's July. We're walking in this heat. Gnats are biting at me. I'm covered in sugar. And we go to this local playground. This is like a residential neighborhood, really small town. There's like a swing set, and then there's a bridge to a sliding board and all this stuff. And we came up with the idea, kind of came up with the verbiage then and there. They filmed all the other stuff with Stevie and Raven before my promo with him. Stevie did one line, and then they did a couple things. When it came to my gimmick, I had to lay across the little bridge to join the sliding board and the swing set, and I had to be naked. So I shimmy out of my skivvies and lay there and put the meanie gimmick on my gimmick, which is on my shelf over here. And we do the promo, and I kind of have to lay there in the dark waiting for them to come around, and I hear them doing the promo. Now picture this.
No.
As Ron Jeremy vacuum cleaner salesman, 1978.
Yes. Paul Fett made those lines and stuff like that. That was his era of porn. I still got a tape from 85. I can't make it through the credits so for shoot. So it's me surrounded by Paul, Stevie, Raven, Ron, Charlie, Sandman's wife, Sandman's child, Tyler. So this looks like a bizarre porn set as already. So to answer your question, that take took 2 runs. We did the first one. Somebody flubbed the line and they went, fuck. So we did it a second run. And even though, and here's the important thing, Paulie gave me a little bit of credit for. Raymond flubs the "she's not feminine" line. He goes, "she's not feminine enough" or whatever line.
Yeah.
And I didn't go, "Oh shit, let's do it again." I kept my composure and just stayed there and waited for the camera to come in and go blue dust and all that stuff. 20 seconds after that, Paul's coming over. Great concentration. You didn't get flustered when he flipped the line, blah, blah, blah. A spotlight hits us. And somebody had called the cops, and a police car shows up. Instead of me just going, oh, and covering up, I stand up, startled, So this police officer comes over, totally disgusted. I'm sure he played in this playground as a child, and I just ruined whatever childhood he had. And he goes, guys, I don't know what you're doing, but please stop. I don't want to do the paperwork on this one. So, and we're like, oh yes, officer, yes, sure. Salmon goes, yo, can we do one more take? And we're like, shut up. Shut up. He's letting us off the hook. And that was it. I almost went to jail for us naked. And then we went back to Ron and Charlie's house, and naturally we we're thinking of different ideas. I was like, dude, we can recreate the Tommy Boy scene at the gas station when, Tommy Boy's on cow tipping and he falls in the mud and he's covered in mud and shit. And Rob Lowe's got to hose him off at the gas station. I was like, oh, I'm taking off the stuff. Let's film that at least. And, I do that. I'm a maniac. And I quote Tommy Boy because that's what Goldust does. And that's also the night, that weekend, Dick Murdoch had passed away. And we filmed a tribute with Sandman doing a toast to Dick Murdoch, saying all my drinking partners have died or something like that. Here's to you, Dick Murdoch. But like we always had creative freedom. Whoever came up with a great idea, we usually ran with it. And that was the beauty of Paul. Paul is a genius. He had great ideas, but if somebody had a better idea, he'd be damned not to let him do it. It took pressure off him,
Let's have a follow-up. Thank you for that answering that question. Was there ever any like pushback received from the WWE for using the Blue Dust character? How many cease and desist orders did you guys get?
Well, unofficially, officially, where ECW was kind of on the payroll, which not a lot of people do, but we kind of got the hint when we start showing up on our TV. We're doing the Raw, ECW of Age Raw, and they're promoting our stuff. And
that was cool.
So it was kind of cool. Later on, years later, I ran into Goldust at a Jim Kettner show. I wasn't booked on. I just went down there just to hang out. I had an off night, and Goldust was on the show, and he was wrestling Simon Diamond, aka Lance Diamond. I was like, "Hey man, hope you don't mind the whole Blue Dust thing." He's like, "Nah, man." And he hit me with the line there. Even the NWO guys hit me with this line. Imitation is a serious form of flattery, and they were cool with it. So, and Dustin was cool with it. Even so much that, I got to do it in WWE,
awesome.
Goldust versus Blue Dust.
Well, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for remembering.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Some fans remember stuff I totally forget about because I'm so busy going forward. I don't get a chance to go, oh yeah, look at that. I'm so busy, but thank God for fans bringing up stuff to remind me to go watch.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Hornets Beard Guy. Good to see you. And Ed Prather, you've been going off in the chat tonight, Ed. Who pissed in your corn pops, bro?
I'm not pissed. I just think that guys like Alvarez and Meltzer and Bruce Mitchell should find another line of work.
What should they? Let me ask though. What should they do? Like, if they didn't have their corner of the world where they could critique professional wrestling, what would be their second calling?
Dudley Boys 3D test dummies.
Perfect. There was a time I could have made that happen.
I would have been out of work then,
Yeah.
I took the 3D plenty of times.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Nothing to be sorry for. Nothing to be sorry for.
I got 3 questions. One individual for Meanie and for Joe, and then one for both of them. I'm going to do the individual ones. First to Meanie. Who came up with the idea for the Blue World Order? To me, that was one of the greatest things I have ever seen in wrestling. You, Stevie, Nova, what an awesome group that you guys did. You were hilarious, especially with your facial reactions.
Wait a minute. Before you answer that question, I just need to clarify. You said the Blue World Order is one of the best things that you've seen in wrestling. Are you aware that we have celebrated this week the New World Order, like the actual best thing to ever happen in wrestling?
Is the New World Order the one that came after the Blue World Order?
Yeah, because it's new.
This is an alternate universe.
The thing with the New World Order was great until they start bringing in guys like Stevie Ray. When they started overdoing it, they should have stuck to 5 or 6 guys.
I love the original, the Jeff Jarrett, Bret Hart, Scott Steiner, whatever. That original
New World
Order.
New World Order, I think, had Scott Hall playing the Meanie role.
Yes,
something like that. Yeah. Oh, he did like the bad guy, like to mock the blue guy thing. Yeah.
New World Order came out to the parody, the one that.
Now that's the original.
That was the New World Order.
Yeah, no, that's the original one.
No, that's the Blue World Order.
Blue World Order came out to do.
And then sushi.
I'm confused.
Scott Hall told me, since, I was the leader of the Blue World Order and he was mocking me, he should be the leader of the New World Order. So,
He told me, no, I don't want to do an interview right now.
I mean, the worst thing Blue World Order did was bring in a Rodman clone. That's about it.
Blue World Order was split into two factions: Royal Blue World Order and Sky Blue World Order.
Yeah. We vetoed teal. We were going to go teal, but yeah, we went with the sky blue.
You know who was going to play teal?
bastardization.
You know who was going to play teal?
No.
Crimson.
Oh.
You guys are insane. Ed, give us the questions. Come on, buddy.
Okay, and the first question I asked the media is who came up with the Blue World Order idea?
It was a toss up. Me and Bubba talk, kind of take co-credit. Bubba Ray Dudley, NWO being, we were wrestling ECW, and what me and Stevie and Nova were doing, we're kind of like the Weird Al of wrestling. We were kind of doing, social commentary or saluting the veterans and stuff like that. So, up until that point, we had come out as Kiss, which was like probably the best thing I'd done up to that point.
Oh yeah, that was great. Perfect paint job.
Oh, well, you should have seen us the night before when we fucking botched it. But and useless knowledge, young Tony Khan was in the crowd for that. But yeah, it was just like Bubba Ray was like, "Oh, you guys got to do the New World Order." I was like, "Yeah, we could be." It's like, "What would we call it?" I was like, blue rhymes with new, and we were bouncing the idea around that. One night, I was talking to Al Snow, seeing how he's doing. He was WWE, I was ECW, and I was like, "Yeah, we're trying to do this parody of, NWO, and I want to be Scott Hall instead of the bad guy could be the blue guy, and like all these things I was saying to Al, he's starting to pop. I was like, oh shit. So I went back to Raven and Stevie, and I was like pitching ideas, and they're like, yeah. And then it came down to like who's going to play who, and I was like, well, we gotta go by size order. Hall's the tall, Nash is the tallest, and then it's Hall, and then so it only made sense that Stevie was Nash, and we had done the parody of Shawn Michaels and Diesel, so he had already played Diesel at one point. So he was going to be Nash, I was going to be Scott Hall, and Nova's going to be Hogan. So, and then
I was your Bish in one promo.
You were.
Stevie was like, we should make him our Bish.
Yeah,
and I was the BWO's Bish for one promo.
Absolutely.
I am the only person that is in the BWO and the Dudley Boys.
There you go. But yeah, and the amazing thing about the BWO is it was supposed to be one night, and they heard the crowd reaction because we did the BWO that night, and then we also came out in half suits. Me and Stevie bought suits, and we're going to do live play-by-play over Ravens match as like Lance Russell and somebody else, and our suits were cutting, our suit jackets were cut in half, and nobody really even. Thank God nobody talks about that because it was horrible. But that was the same night as the BWO debut. But they heard the reaction to the BWO, and we were off to the races. And it led to Stevie's main event push for the first ever ECW pay-per-view, Barely Legal.
Thank you for answering my question there.
Oh, thank you.
And Joe, Joe, you were one of my heroes. You and those promos that you cut to introduce the Dudley Boys, starting with the well. Was there any time after doing those promos that that Bubba Ray or you might had overstepped the bounds, like when Bubba told the mother that he taught her daughter to you know what's what I'm talking about?
No, please elaborate.
I think it was the one where Bubba told a mom that she sucks dick so they can afford bricks to build a whorehouse for the sister, or like, I don't remember exactly how it went. No, I'm kidding. I know how it went.
Yes. He told the mom that he taught her daughter to suck. Yeah. was there any time that you were kind of maybe afraid that maybe we overdone it? That we maybe
no such thing. I was always afraid that I hadn't done enough. When it came to those promos, it was, if you're gonna burn a bridge, burn it to the ground and let the bridges you burn light the way.
Yeah, if you're gonna burn down the bridge, use the most powerful dynamite you can use. Yeah,
yes, sir.
I had to make sure my mom didn't hear. I had to make sure to watch that. I always recorded, so to make sure I watched it when my mom wasn't around. I didn't want my butt to get into trouble. Hearing one of
Me
your
too, but my mom wished I would have stayed in college, so she didn't watch. My grandmother watched.
Okay. And
my grandmother made sure I wasn't getting put through too many tables.
Your grandma sounds awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. And my question for both of you is, when you guys did the 2 pay-per-views, one for Shane and then for the WWE, was there any, did Shane give you guys any hassle? Because we know about how Shane's history with the WWF has been. Was there any, did Shane say anything to you guys? Or did he not give a damn?
Nah, Shane's one of the boys. He knew it was go make that money, brother. What? I was going to go into a Shane Douglas impersonation, but no, Shane's one of the boys. He knew. He's like, go make the money, And he didn't not know his exact words, but he knew it. He was, him and Borash, who were running the show, were, that was the precursor to everything that happens now when there's a WrestleMania. All the independent promotions come to town, that same town, and run shows. So it only made sense that weekend to 90 miles away from where WWE's running, do another ECW tribute show. And in the meantime, record your own version of Rise and Fall ECW with Forever Hardcore, which they filmed the night before, which at least with me at the building. But Shane would never be against guys making a payday. And it was cool that, we were fortunate enough to be able to do both.
Hey, thanks for taking my questions, guys, and thank you for all the years of entertainment that both of you have given to fans like myself.
Thank you.
Thank you, dude.
All right. Josh Rosenbaum, what do you have for the boys tonight? Did we lose Josh?
Nothing. Heyman era porn. Nothing. Andrew on the crawl earlier, not that I wasn't listening to whoever was asking the question at the time, but Andrew had mentioned on the crawl that he thought that Heyman era porn should be our next t-shirt.
Slichter.
First of all, what do you mean on the crawl? What does that even mean?
On the crawl, on the lower third. Shernoff, jump in here, you TV son of a bitch.
Okay, like TV. Okay.
Well,
okay.
like when he's saying on the crawl would be kind of like a news ticker, like going along the bottom, but it's not exactly the same thing. Although I don't know how Joel has his set up, but it's kind of just as it's continuing in the chat, basically, is
there
what
you
he's.
Go.
It's like it's like a lower fifth notification.
Right.
When you're on a phone, I guess that's what it looks like. So
yeah.
I appreciate that clarification.
When you've only got a 2.5-year-old phone and one pair of earbuds that you can't find, that you really need to go find a life coach and get your fucking shit straight.
Joel Gertner. By the way, if you're looking for a life coach, I know a wonderful one. Her name is Lori Bischoff, Mrs. B. Hit her up on the Twitter machine. Lori B. Life Coach. All right, Josh Rosenbaum, sorry that we missed you. Antonio Santos, we'll never want to miss you, right? Because I'm sure you have like.
Is Lori B. Eric Bischoff's wife?
Yes, she is. Did you not know this?
She is disqualified from life coaching me. Her husband once referred to me as a dipshit.
Once?
Well, once that I know of.
James Sorensen, has it ever come up over your morning tea with Bischoff?
We got into it. There was a Starcast shuttle going like from the hotel to the airport or something like that. And Bischoff was obviously already in it. He was comfortable, taking care of passenger seat, everything. And I got into like the Schmendrick seat right behind him with like no leg room or anything like that. I have a 29-inch inseam. I'm like a hob, like if Boris Zukov was a hobbit. So I don't need a lot of leg space, but thank God. So I'm sitting behind Bischoff, and the first thing I told him was, by the way, sir, just so that you're informed, I am indeed not a dipshit. And we had like a good laugh over it. I like told him that like I absolutely took no offense to what he said, and that perhaps it was even in storyline or gimmick or some sort, whatever he needed to hear so that he didn't feel bad for having said it.
I don't think he felt bad.
I heard my name. What?
Hey, what's up, dude?
Man, right on time, James. Oh, he put up the picture of him, and so James is really good friends with Eric Bischoff.
Hello. Nobody is friends with Eric Bischoff like I'm friends with Eric Bischoff.
Have you been to Cody, Wyoming?
You know what? Eric came to me. Okay. What's up? All right. Anyway.
Thank you.
You mean just like you're also friends with Tony Schiavone?
Yes, Tony and I are very good friends. It's different type of friendship there.
Or loyalty.
Right.
Thank you for your validation.
Sorensen's
Okay.
what a dude.
You know what? He's the wallpaper on my phone. My children were upset with me when they saw it. So, there you have it, folks. All right. Enough of this.
Don't you have a husband too?
I have a real laissez-faire friendship with Eric Bischoff where I think the two of us just kind of respect each other's space and time, and I realize how busy he must be. So I know that we get along. I just don't feel the need to constantly DM or pepper him or anything like that. And I know that I could always just send a kind word or regards through Lauren.
I don't know when this became a competition for Eric.
Lauren's like, I met Eric
assure
Bischoff
you,
5 years before Sonny Ono did, and blah, 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 blah.
I assure all of you, Eric likes me more than any of you, okay? So anyway, on to the next. Antonio Santos, bring it, babe. What you got for us tonight?
Where are we at?
Lauren, gentlemen, how are you?
Gentlemen. No. Hey.
How's it going, man?
Yeah, good. Got two questions. First one, it's about Sandman. My buddy told me years ago when ECW came up to Rochester, New York, he said as he was waiting in line to get in, I guess he said Sandman came and asked for a ride to go to the store, get some beer, and come back before the show start. I was wondering if any of that true. Does he do that?
I wouldn't doubt it in one instant. Dude, that was the thing about ECW. After an ECW show, more than likely everybody would go back to the same hotel and drink together. We'd be drinking with the fans. And like I said, with the Cylinder and Sin here in Philly, the old, Travel Lodge, it wouldn't be a thing to walk around the hallways, find the door that was propped open with the deadbolt, push your way, slowly walk in, and people go, Meanie, there's beer in the tub, So Sammy walking the line going, hey, yo, who can get me to the beer store? And who wouldn't want to drive Sammy to the beer store so they can have a story for life, to tell,
There were also 3 forbidden doors, 1 curtain, and a box.
Okay, and my second one is a fuck, marry, kill one. So you guys ready?
No, we're not ready.
Oh my God. I almost lost Lauren as a friend in one of these, and she's friends with half the wrestling business.
I hate you guys. You're the worst.
Okay, first one, Mrs. Brady. Second one, Jessica Rabbit. Third one, Charlotte Flair.
I am passing on that one.
Because she has the longevity and has lived the longest life, I will unfortunately put Mrs. Brady out of her misery. That leaves what, Meanie? I mean, the other, I would have gotten a lot more heat to do either of the other, no? So that's that. And then who do we got? Charlotte Flair and Jessica Rabbit?
Yeah.
Charlotte Flair is pure class, no floozy, and a member of the Conrad Thompson family. And I know where my bread may in the future be buttered. So I would marry her. And I think, dude, you actually laid it out pretty obviously. I think 80% of all heterosexual males would choose it this way. You would kill Mrs. Brady. You would marry Charlotte Flair. not to get into the Flair family. Not that anybody ever married anybody just to get into the Flair family, but it's not for that. Just because. And then I would, yeah. And then what else would I do? Jessica Rabbit? Sure, Jessica Rabbit. I'd fuck the shit out of her, bunny style. Don't you shake your head, Lauren. You've got kids. You've done it before.
Well.
Let's get a bunny style t-shirt going. Thank you, HBG. HBG, only if you buy 2 and make everybody else buy 1. All right, fine. Buy 1 and make everybody else buy 2.
Thank you, guys.
Wow.
You're welcome.
Bunny style t-shirt, Slichter.
Word.
Okay.
Would that be Heyman era? I'm just curious.
Yeah,
No?
does the
That
bunny
could be.
style fit into the
As an
Heyman
Easter
era
egg,
porn?
as an Easter egg.
As an Easter egg. I'm still working.
Sure that when you get the quintessential greetings that you can buy it through Bishcoin. Only if Bishcoin is accepted will I do quintessential greetings. But yes,
Bunny style could be the Easter card for their
bunny style could be an
greetings.
Easter card,
Yeah.
and it could be an Easter egg on the Heyman era porn shirt. Absolutely.
Wouldn't
I
it
got
be,
to have a Sandman character dressed up as a bunny off in the top left.
wouldn't it be better as Jack Rabbit style?
Oh my God. All right, guys. I'm out. Thank you all. Just kidding. You're stuck with me. We really appreciate Antonio Santos.
You could put the bunny. You could put the bunny on a motorboat. By the way, Lauren, your hair is looking spectacular today.
You know, what would make you say a thing like that?
The fact that I can't see what the t-shirt says other than kiss my.
Well, I'll let you fill in the blank on that. Okay. RJ, what is my life? RJ Krasinski, what is my life? By the way, this is a Tony Schiavone shirt, boxinggimmicks.com.
I'm really not sure on where to go from there, so I'll
Me
just
either, babe. Me either. Where do we go?
I don't know how you do it.
The
Kiss
beauty
my
is you
ass
can go
and
anywhere.
get the hell out of here. Kiss my ass and get the hell out of here is going to be my snappy, zinging retort to Josh Shernoff on July 17th when he asked me what day and time we're doing the August Zoom.
Perfect.
All right then. So me and Josh know that I was at the November to Remember '99, and I saw Tanaka and Mike Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You guys talked about it at this pay-per-view. As Meanie mentioned on the podcast, Vince McMahon watched the match. What other thoughts between yourself, Joel, and Meanie did you see backstage? Was it a sellout at the curtain? And then Josh, obviously you said that you watched it. What are your thoughts on that match?
I don't know if it was a total sell. It'd be hard to call it a sellout at the current. I'm sure it would have been, but the fact that we all had to kind of be by the current because we were scheduled to be next with the whole face-off with the WWE talent and then the pull apart and stuff like that. So there's a lot of guys in that area to begin with, but Tanaka and Awesome always put on, no pun intended, an awesome match. But yeah, watching Vince watch that match was something you kind of wish you had, this way. I wish I had the technology I had today and just busted out the phone to record watching Vince watching that match.
I think
I
Joe
wasn't
wishes.
Yeah,
What?
I wish too. I would, and they cut to Lauren, who's doing this extra seductive pose. Chernoff's like, "I'll bet," and they're showing Lauren as if she just came out of the shower and she's about to wrap a towel in her hair. Anyway, I was not near Gorilla for most of the show. I had a couple of short segments that kept me having a whole lot of Mexican jumping bean style, frenetic, kinetic energy. Yeah, like Methuselah for thousands of years. So it's very hard to contain me backstage. So I wasn't near Gorilla for a lot of that time, so I wouldn't know. But I do have a GIF or a meme of Vince McMahon, and he's standing by the curtain and he's peeking out. And ever since Meanie said that he saw Vince looking at and watching the Tanaka match with Mike Awesome. I now have seen in my camera roll a couple of times since then the Vince picture in question, and now it's indelibly etched. And I imagine that Vince is peeking out of the curtain watching Tanaka and Awesome, and it's awesome. And it's Tanaka, and I think of Meanie.
My watching it, you asked what I thought of it. I remember watching it back in 2005 and loving the fact that it was just, I think, again, like we had talked about earlier, I kind of went into this with the expectation this was going to be a WWE show and going, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing all of the classic stuff that they did. Watching it back in 2021, I can't, we know too much about CTE and things like that. I'm just looking at this going, my God, this is not, no one should be doing this. So, I mean, thoroughly entertained back in the day, but now I think I just watch it in such a different light. But, yeah, I mean, they were as hard hitting gets. But it was, I remember back in 2005, I was all about it.
You'd never know it because my feed shows Lauren every second or third clip, but Shernoff is like, anytime that his headphones start giving him a little bit of like ting, buzz, or pop, he just throws them in a trash bin behind him. He's on his 5th set of headphones today. You'd never know it. Meanwhile, interesting story, I'm having to juggle these earbuds because after an hour or such of doing this show, these start to die as fucking, they start to like, you have to kind of, they'll both start to go. You'll have to and pop it into the case. And then you have to don't worry, in a second, I'll be able to hear you again. Can you hear me? This would be remedied if a lot of people bought t-shirts. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Does Conrad have a kind of, is Conrad able to, is there a budget for, am I on mute?
Joel,
don't tell me I didn't unmute myself at the beginning of the show. Am I
no,
all right?
You're
you
good.
Hear me?
Joel, you know that you can get wired headphones.
This is such a first world problem that you're dealing with, Joel. I mean, come on. Now he's muted, and it's probably better that way. That's fine. Thank you so much for your question, RJ. And James Sorensen, how are you this evening?
I'm doing good. Sorry for the buttons earlier, but my name was called and I figured I'd answer.
It's not a button. James? It's not a button if someone calls your name.
And Lauren, I'm just kidding. And you do look amazing tonight.
Doesn't she look awesome?
Oh, you guys. James, did you say that I didn't look nice tonight?
No, you always do.
I missed that part.
Look like crap.
Lauren, if you were single and I were single and it were a different time and such, and COVID, and if you were double vaxxed and whatnot, I would date you. Depends how you measure. Like some people, I think in 2021 have different ideas of what the word date means. But I think for probably 75% of yours and mine definition of what date means, I'm very convinced that I would absolutely let you date me.
Oh, this is like the greatest compliment I've received in, I don't know, 6 months. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I don't believe that, but it's a valid thing to say. Well, for most females, I would entertain that as being the truth, but for you, I'd think more like 3 months.
Okay. I mean, I don't get propositioned by Joel Gertner every day.
No,
I do.
Who does?
I do.
Hey, take it away. What you got for us?
First thing I say, Meanie and Josh, great show last night. I watched play. I wasn't able to watch.
Thanks, James.
Thank you, sir.
What was your thoughts, Meanie? Paul.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah. Hate it when this happens.
He's auto-tuning.
He was asking, Meanie, he was asking, what are your...
Hold on, that's the last face you see before the trunk shuts on the car. You're being taken off to the desert.
I think he was asking, what are your thoughts on manscaped.com and do you use the promo code Meanie20? I think that's what he was asking.
Which isn't an ad.
No. I that's what I thought he was saying. I was trying to make it out, but
so many people think things are ads that aren't actually ads. They're just informational. Like hashtag pay the boys. It's not an ad if I say hashtag pay the boys. It's a hashtag that's been used on Twitter in a wrestling context.
People are constantly, but I'm sitting here holding like the Mind of the Meanie 2-pack from Cello Toys, available at mindofthemeanie.com and only mindofthemeanie.com because they sold out everywhere else.
While you're wearing a t-shirt that I'm jealous of and that I have absolutely no idea where to get.
This old thing? This Shernoff Premium Broadcasting? Oh, you can get that over.
So I'm wearing a Coca-Cola shirt, but like I don't. So that's a carbonated beverage.
Yeah.
But like you're like kind of like an alcoholic beverage.
Yeah.
So
well, this one you can get over at prowrestlingtees.com/so says Shernoff. That's it. Just
all right.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
For your information.
Was asking was.
Hold on, Lauren had information.
Oh no! I was just saying that this isn't an ad. This is just for your information.
Oh God, no.
Right.
I mean, look at that shirt that's available at prowrestlingtees.com/that was extreme. It says not an ad.
Rather than GoFundMe or just like a pure donation, like a PayPal, like just like instead of just giving money, think about the fact that if you do hashtag buy a shirt related to our show, it's kind of like you've hashtag paid the boys and you get a free shirt. It's like a free shirt alongside pay the boys.
Once they buy the shirt, it's free.
But just as well, a lot of people are going to take whatever the amount of a shirt is, and they're going to say, "Let me just ding pay the boys," and they're going to, "I don't want a shirt. I have too many shirts." But some people, if they're savvy, will spend the same amount of money, and they'll do the hashtag buy a shirt option, and that'll also help benefit us, and it'll show support for the show, and it'll show the powers that be that we deserve all of the best in life, and it's very hard for me to maintain and upkeep the very unique physique that I have. It takes a lot of high quality and moderately high quantity food.
Unique physique. Put that one on a t-shirt.
Unique physique.
And you know what else? Antonio Santos suggests that you start an OnlyFans, Joel. So
me?
You have at least one subscriber to your OnlyFans.
What would I do?
Antonio, what's he gonna do? I guess he's gonna make a tail rabbit style or something.
Lauren, would you do shows with me on my OnlyFans?
This is the only show I'm gonna be doing with you, Joel, but thanks for the offer.
Oh.
And on that note, James Sorensen, did you have a question for the guys tonight?
Hello.
But I had stupid Nebraska connection.
I think it's still 3G, brother. It's still sounding like 2.5G.
Josh Rosenbaum's over here just like telling
you know what MacGyver would do? MacGyver would take a paper clip. MacGyver would take a paper clip and he'd unfold it and he'd stick the paper clip into the hole on his secondary AirPods.
Okay.
This is what MacGyver would do. But then again, I've seen footage of him on the internet, like outside of his car, not being able to start it. And so I think MacGyver's half a work anyway, but.
Fair enough. James, we'll try to come back to you at the end. Josh Rosenbaum is back again. And my kid loves me. She just opened the door to say so.
Oh.
Hey, not to gaslight him, but just to show him how great you guys are. And I think sup bro means yes, and that we're about to schedule. I know that I'll have a chance to talk about the 69-minute Eargasm, my podcast, at the end of the show. But I just saw a Twitter DM come through that gives me the indication. And again, hopefully he's not watching alongside Tony Schiavone and Eric Bischoff and feels like I'm putting him on the spot and he'll now say no. But I believe he's just said yes, that my next guest in the near future, hopefully before the August 1st episode of That Was Extreme of the 69-minute Eargasm, will be Alberto El Patron.
Oh, man, that's big. That's big.
So make sure you guys listen.
We heard it here first.
Unless I just lost it. But yes, thank you guys for being hopefully a good luck charm, and hopefully that'll air.
Great. Coach, what's up?
Hey, doing great. Hey, Meanie, I've been I saw that somebody had you dead. Can you tell me a little bit about the story that happened maybe a week or so ago about the fucking somebody saying that you were dead and everything? Because it kind of threw me off for a second, but it's good to see you alive.
Threw you off. But yeah, just no, I was doing a virtual signing and somebody's like, did you know your Wikipedia says you're dead? It's like, no, I said, no, I'm just in Long Island. But yeah.
Tremendous.
Ha meanie. Yeah, and then a little while later I was pronounced not dead. So to me that's considered Easter, meaning Easter, which combine those together and it's Meester, which there's yeah, so
I like it.
Yeah, it's
Is there a Meester shirt that you can buy somewhere, Meanie?
not that it's an ad, but it's very informative that if you go to pro wrestling
Needs to be. There needs to be a Meester shirt where it's like the cover of a Mr. album, but it's Meanie.
Well, this is about 3/4 Shernoff and about 1/4 Major Melon's Mountain Dew. So Shernoff, I'm partying with you tonight.
So
Go,
that's for
son.
Shernoff
Let's
and Lauren.
win game 2.
In honor
Have
of
fun,
Lauren,
guys.
we've got some Shernoff and some Major Melons.
Wow.
Amen to that.
I can say that because Lauren's not doing any shows with me but this.
Although I will say I wouldn't turn that down as a show that I'd be a part of. That could be fun.
Oh my goodness, this has taken a turn.
Quintessential Major Melons would probably do some business on OnlyFans, but Lauren's got that Bitcoin money, so.
I don't even know what to do with you guys. This is completely off the rails. I'm going to get fired. We're all going to get fired. And Doug McLeod, is he still here? Because it's his birthday, I hear. Hi,
Happy
Doug.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Getting fired's refreshing. It lets you know you're alive.
Well, we're glad that Meanie's alive. He doesn't need the reminder by getting fired.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll take that one for the team. Doug, what's up, bro? You got anything to say? What are you doing for your birthday? How are you celebrating?
Doug McLeod left.
No.
According to Michael, Doug looks frozen. That's on the bottom lower fifth. On my upper sixth, I just saw that Doug has vacated the premises.
I think he froze at the mention of Major Melons.
Yeah, he had a real stiff frozen daiquiri version of the Major Melons and shirt off.
Yeah,
he's gonna have to sleep that one
his
off.
lower 4 froze.
Brother, let me tell you about my middle third.
You guys are stupid. This is so fun. I love it. And you guys, this has been another That Was Extreme after. You know what? That Was Extreme is really an understatement for this show. This is crazy. I do need to know, who's your favorite host for this particular show, gentlemen? Is it me? Is it Paul? Is it me?
Oh, hands down, it's you for today.
For today, I'll take it. I really appreciate
Paul,
it.
I think Paul would happily do an OnlyFans with me, but you look a lot prettier in that top.
Has Paul worn my top before?
Yes, that was a private message he sent, Joel. And
that's
no,
on a need-to-know basis.
I would say that you are my favorite, except for the fact that it looks like Paul is kind of nudging Conrad out and is going to eventually take over the entire kingdom. So I feel like, we're kind of
mortgages going that well.
I think they are.
What
does Conrad not like wrestling anymore?
No.
Tell Conrad I feel like that every week or so, but I've been around for like 37 years, and that if he just kind of gives it a chance and sticks it out till next week, he'll find that he still loves it.
Okay, he may be able to rebound from this. I do want to make sure everyone knows that I absolutely love Paul Bromwell. He's actually right across the room. You guys can't see him hanging out with me for now. So he says hello to all of you. No, that was a lie. He's not.
Like, what? Why isn't he on here if he's in the same room?
I'm just kidding. You guys wouldn't know any different. James Sorensen is popping back in. And on that note, we're going to wrap this one up. That was extreme. I'm totally kidding.
That was a good one. That was classic.
I'm kidding. Although it says joining ellipses forever. He's in Nebraska. They got to ship the internet out to him in a box. So he receives it once a week. And Gotta try to make that work. So anyway,
he's got a button broken on his web TV remote control.
Something like that. So
No, it's a burner phone. That's what it is. It's a burner.
A burner phone. Josh knows all about that. All right, tell us where to follow you guys and support you on the internet. This is not an ad. Plug your Twitter, plug your Cameo, plug your pro wrestling tees. Give me all the plugs. Let's go. Ooh, don't give me the plugs. That doesn't sound good.
What kind of
Joel? I think that's you.
Hubba.
Damn. Whew.
If you would like to support the Blue Meanie, go to prowrestlingtees.com/Blue Meanie. You can also, like every Monday morning, 6 a.m., bright and early, Mind of the Meanie podcast, wherever your favorite podcast drop. If you want to get a cameo, go to cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO. I'm on all social media as Blue Meanie BWO.
Who's up next?
Well, that'd be you.
What happened to Joel?
Wait, he may have fallen off. He
All
just had too much.
All right. So follow Joel at Stud Muffin Says, and make sure to check out the 69-minute Eargasm podcast that may or may not have Alberto El Patron or whatever his name is on there. And Sorensen's back. But and then when you're not doing that, if you want to go, of course, I got to say again, Mind of the Meanie. Go check out Mind of the Meanie wherever you get your podcast. Meanie and I have a blast over there every single Monday at 6 a.m. And you can follow that there's the blast. You can follow that at Mind of the Meanie across all social media platforms. Give me a follow if you'd be so kind at So Says Shernoff and at Shernoff Show. That is actually for the So Says Shernoff Show that's on Fight, and a new podcast, which if you're into just listening to things like Fight and Focus, like the one I just did with Maria Kanellis Bennett, Mike Bennett, and Jonathan Gresham ahead of the Ring of Honor pay-per-view. Well, that just dropped as we were doing this, the audio version on the So Says Shernoff podcast feed. So definitely subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And then you can go to prowrestlingtees.com/Mind of the Meanie for those things. prowrestlingtees.com/So Says Shernoff for cool things like this shirt I'm wearing, and prowrestlingtees.com/That Was Extreme, and follow us over at That Was Extreme for more extreme content.
So many plugs, and you're such a good brother to put over Joel, even though he left us. Must have been an AirPod issue. So
sometimes he taps his, how many times did it happen while we were doing That Was Extreme?
Yeah.
30,000 times.
Yeah. Oh, also, since you asked, Lauren, you can go to brothersgatter.com and you can pre-order the new Blue Meanie and Josh Shernoff Wrestling Buddies. And then you can also get a virtual or in-person meet and greet signing thing for August 7th when we will be there in Port Henry, New York. So
fantastic. I love it. We love to see it. Also, get your Eric Bischoff Snuggle Buddy at boxofgimmicks.com and your Tony Schiavone Kiss My Ass and Get the Hell Out of Here t-shirts, boxofgimmicks.com. Of course, we're at ad-free shows. Thank you all for joining us for this one, and we will see you in August for That Was Extreme, the after show. Joel's in the waiting room. I'm going to probably just wrap this one up, and we'll catch all of you next time. Thank you so much, and good night.
Thank you, guys.
Bye now.
Thanks, Josh.